Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Zatima. This is season 4 and episodes 5 and 6. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video. Also, you can subscribe if you are new here. I welcome you. I also welcome your comments, so we can go on and just gab it up a little bit in the comments, and you can share this video. Now let's get into these episodes. Okay. All right. I should have got these to you this morning. But at least I only got Zach and Zatima on for a couple weeks because Sister's going to be off until they come back from the mid-season finale, which is just a couple weeks from now. But anyways, how y'all like that finale? You see Zach and Zatima fight like that? But look, y'all can act like it was the end of the world last night, but whatever. We seen them fight greater, even on season 2 of Zatima. So anyway, Zach tries to support his girl by feeding her. He prepares this breakfast for her, gets everything ready, brings the whole tray up while Fatima is asleep. He wakes her up and she is not in the mood. I'm sorry, I'm enjoying me, Fatima. I'm sorry. It's just out of normalcy, so I welcome it. We know that Fatima is not really like that, so it's just how it is, especially when you're pregnant. A lot of things happen, and I think that Miss Crystal is playing the out of Fatima right now, and pregnant Fatima. So she don't want all that breakfast. That's a little bit too much. But anyways, they get into a little squabble there, at least with Fatima. She's ready to beat him up. She started insulting him, and he was like, I'm gonna let that rock. Oh, you gonna let that rock? You better leave me alone before I kick your... It was funny. So anyways, today is court day. Remember that Heather's aunt wants full custody of Zach. The lawyer's bringing up all the Zach stuff, as far as doing a bid, already in jail, his other things as far as with him beating up Jeremiah, and then also the shootout that happened at the repast. We knew that stuff was going to bite him in the butt, and he didn't care about the consequences. You know, they even brought up Fatima's lawsuit, which I think that was between her and Deja, and Fatima, who isn't a lawyer, but she just came as more of a character witness. However, the judge kind of just recognized who she was as still studying to be a lawyer. She was like, that court case was inadmissible. They're not really understanding this frivolous stuff that they got going on. Zach was like, well, that one thing wasn't even my fault as far as the shooting that happened. So Heather's aunt says she got a chance to speak. First, the judge says, like, look, I'm a believer in not taking children away from their father, first off, but we're gonna have to see what you guys have to say. Heather said what she needed to say. She says that she doesn't know where Heather went wrong. That's not the family way or whatever. But she thought that having a child, it would calm her down a little bit. So then you knew who she was. Folk just don't start acting erratically for no reason at all. I'm sure if we really started investigating the family, if y'all were a little bit open and not prideful, we'd find out where all these behaviors come from out of Heather. Heather is an abuser, a chronic abuser, and just abuser. I wouldn't just say neglectful, she's just an abuser. That's the root of it all. She never should have had a child, basically. So Heather's aunt's lawyer is trying to move for, if there is at least temporary custody, that Zach still has to pay child support. And they're like, well, wait a minute, what are we doing that for? If you want this custody, you want to have full custody to take care of this, no way, no ma'am. It's just some type of money grab, and that was part of the argument that was happening. Zach got to say his speech. You know, look, his mother, Michael's mother, was terrible, and some people, I told you guys in the beginning that he was horrible. They kept him away from me. I know that I could be an upstanding parent. So the judge took all of that in consideration and awarded Heather's aunt temporary custody, because he also ordered for Zach to go to anger management class. Because that stuff did happen, whether it was in your control or not. We got to make sure that you are the best fit for him. Hopefully they argue that, hey, Michael is talking because he was in my care and in my atmosphere and what I was able to offer him. So let's not go there. Like there hasn't been any type of improvement with Michael. Also, Zatima moved for a blood test to be ran. And Zach was like, what is going on? And she asked, do you trust me? And he said, yeah. This is a way to at least prolong trying to take money out of his pocket. So there needs to be another paternity test. She argued that this was a home test and all that, and we need to really do stuff more officially. Did they put his name on the birth certificate? I'm not for sure. But anyways, yeah. So at this point, he needs to fulfill all of that. I think it's going to be a few more months. Now Michael's going to be there. But anyway, after that, Zatima goes to the office, and one of the colleagues there, one of the lawyers who was a part of entertainment lawyering, has a proposition for Zatima. The lawyer is going to be out of commission for a couple months, but wants Zatima to step in, do all of the discovery, meaning research and all that good stuff for her, and it's for this artist, Sage. I don't know who Sage is, but of course this universe knows who she is, and she's really great. Zatima said, okay, I'll give it a try or whatnot. So she goes in to meet Sage, and they talk for a little bit, get comfortable with each other. We find out that Sage, to me, it felt a little bit Beyonce and Matthew Knowles. And you can also think about Britney Spears, her dad, Jessica Simpson and her dad and all of that. But anyways, she loves her father, but he's too involved in her business, and it's kind of like he controls everything that she does. And she's ready to just cut that type of cord, but still, be a family. She's reading through the paperwork, Zatima is, and finding out that Sage, that the father has a conservatorship over her until the age of 30. We know a little bit about it in regards to what happened to Britney Spears. Amanda Bynes has that thing going on. But anyways, Sage is just needing to sever ties. She's working on a new album on the low, and she doesn't want her father to be a part of it at all. And also she's asked Zatima, do you know of any places that I could possibly do a sound party, just low-key, a couple songs, just to get the feel of how people are feeling. And Zatima said, I think I do, and we'll be in touch. Zatima has to let Zach know that she's going to be working late, and then the guys, Preston and Bryce, decide that they're going to go out. And we're finding out how lovesick Bryce really is about Angela, and finding out that he would be sitting outside of Angela's place. It's not stock, at least how they're playing it is more this puppy dog type of situation. But anyways, they're gonna go out and just talk. All right, so for episode 6, we begin with Angela. This is at the office. She's going into Zatima's office. Zatima seems to be on the phone, and Angela's like, hey, how you doing? And all we can see is the back of her head, and as you can see that she's on the phone. She's like, oh, okay, I'll just back up out of there. And then, of course, Zatima's doing all this. So Angela gets out of there. She's going a little bit down the hallway, and guess who's there? Zatima. And Angela's like, what are you doing? What's going on? You were just in your office, just being kind of rude. And Zatima's like, no, I haven't. I don't know what's up. But anyways, Zatima tells Angela, because she thought that she was getting off work at the same time. Nope. Excuse me. She tells her about Sage and all that. Angela thinks that she's going to meet her today, but no, not going to happen. Anyways, Angela leaves. Zatima drops off some paperwork in a basket, and then around the corner, here comes Miss Leslie. Leslie's dressed just like Zatima is, and then she ends up picking this paperwork up that Zatima had already put in the basket. So, single black female. I think this is even, I just say that they've taken it to another level as far as what they did in that movie back in the 90s, Single White Female. Now I'm trying to remember what the next part was. Oh, well, Zach and Bryce and Preston, they talk a little bit, even about Fatima, about the future, wanted to know exactly what Fatima wants to do. He said he doesn't really know because it seems like she hasn't been feeling what she has been feeling beforehand as far as lowering and all that. And Preston was like, well, at least you have the means to support her in whatever way that she goes. A lot of things could be going through her head just because she's pregnant and thinking about her future and her family and all that good stuff. So we shall see where Fatima actually ends up. We talk about Bryce. There's been this platonic sleepovers that they've been having. He's coming over and fix stuff, and he's like, no more, I'm not doing that. And Zach was like, you were doing all of that? He says, I am trying to fix it with her. I apologize over and over. And Zach said, don't. You're going to have to give her time. And she may not come to the place where she really wants to be with you again. But you have to allow her space to actually make it right. Just like you wanted to force things with even Zach after you crossed the line with him. But at least he's unlearning some of the things that he was doing that made him look very desperate and all that good stuff. So, next, Belinda. I didn't know that Belinda was a hairstylist. Did y'all know? Let me know, because I didn't know that. Anyway, she's fixing some person's hair, and then in walks Leslie. Her hair is looking a mess. However, Belinda just kind of glanced at Leslie and was like, hey, girl! And she thought it was someone that she knew, Fatima. So, Leslie is taken on as a client, and Belinda does her hair. She's like, I really just want to wash and curl. She's like, well, does this really fit your face? She's like, yeah, this is what I want. And Belinda's getting kind of freaked out because she's like, well, that's kind of strange. Then Leslie goes on to describe what she does for work, which she is studying to be a lawyer. And also, her boyfriend is a real estate agent, and is going to be throwing my baby shower. And she's like, you really remind me of my homegirl, da-da-da-da-da. You know, we did have a falling out. And then Leslie was like, it must have been your fault. It was your fault. You should apologize. That's what she said. And Belinda was like, how do you know that? You just kind of gave it away that you're the one that did something to her. Okay, girl. You crazy. Anyway, she did her hair, paid whatever, and left. And then Belinda called Fatima. Fatima was not in the mood for her because we know all this stuff that's going on. Belinda was like, look, do you know this girl named Let? And then Fatima stops her there. She said, look, I know you're about to call me about some mess about Zach. Some girl said that she been messing with him and can describe his D-I-C-K to the T. I don't want to hear it. Da, 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 da. Belinda was like, you just hear me, blah, 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 blah. Belinda's like, can we ever get back to the place that we were? And Fatima was like, no. Fatima ended up softening a little bit. She said, I don't know if we'll ever get back to the place we were, but at least we can try to start over in some type of capacity. And that makes her very excited, and I'm kind of like, well, hopefully you are better this time, because you were quite awful in regards to just because of whatever pain Zach actually gave you was just crazy. What was the next scene? I'm trying to think. Oh, Zach came into the office to give her some lunch or dinner or whatever. He was like, you know, you gonna be here long? And she said, yeah, I can wait here and escort you. She said, no. Well, then I'll get a security guard and all that. Okay, cool. I wonder why, because we haven't really had any explanation in regards to that though. But she needs it though. Maybe because of the whole shootout thing. I don't know. Anyways, the shootout. Zach leaves or whatever. By the time Fatima wants to go, she goes into the parking lot and she's a little bit creeped out. She gets to her car and sees that there is a baby toy in there that was not there before. She looks around and doesn't really see anything. And of course, Lifetime movie drama. Lord Jesus. She gets in her car and drives away. The next scene is with our girl Connie and Jeremiah. Jeremiah is looking for another hit and trying to ask Connie for, you got something, you got some money, whatever. And she's like, no. Why don't you let me help you? He doesn't really see any hope in that. He saw his mama the last time he got high, and he wants to see her again. He's not really feeling that much hope. At the same time, Connie's trying to be encouraging to him. Connie ended up, how can I say this? She was faintish. She didn't fall all out, whatever, but Jeremiah caught her or whatever. He's like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm gonna be okay. Back at the Taylors, Zatima gets home. She doesn't tell him about the baby toy or whatever. But anyways, I love this at how they did this. In the beginning of the morning, they fought or whatever. But at night, now, Zach is realizing, I shouldn't have really did all that. I'm making food more simple, basic, just to appease your needs and all that. And she's like, thank you. And then Zatima apologizes. Now, Zatima don't apologize. Not often, It is what it is, But she apologizes. I said, oh, that's good. That's how you actually end. I mean, I know this is not really sitcom. It's like a dramedy or whatever. But that's how you end those type of shows. I like that. I like to have a well-rounded whole thing and sometimes stuff needs to build up and pressure and then boom, a clash. But that's how they fought before. Let's try something new. They're growing up. They got a baby on the way, So I really love that. Then we go back to Jeremiah. Jeremiah got a hold of some drugs. He starts talking about that he had a wife and children and he lost all of that. He has nothing really to live for and he just wasted his life. He's a failure. I think I heard something about that possibly in season 2 where he was, but I forgot about it. I was like, oh, well, where are they? I think I heard about him having children. I think that would have been season 2 though. But anyway, yeah. So at the end, he took it and then passed out. We don't know what happened. I forgot about that. There was a little short scene with Tony. He was delivering more money to whomever he actually ended their life. The woman comes out and says, hey, who are you? And Tony keeps walking and doesn't really reveal himself. But that was it. I'm going to tell you this much. Out of the 4 seasons of Zatima, seasons 2 and season 4 are my favorite seasons. Now, I love them all, but y'all kind of got a different type of mark on each other, and I really love it. I'm enjoying these episodes. There's just a different or a different feel, a different vibe about it. But y'all get in the comments and let me know what you thought of these episodes and how you're feeling about this season, But I appreciate everyone for coming. Please like this video. You can subscribe. And again, leave your comments. Until the next one, peace.